Okay, so hello everybody. This is Jack, your AAEC Paradise Valley campus principal. I'm hopping on today to give you logistical details of school opening for fall 2020, and that was presented to the school board, our AAEC school board, yesterday on uh, July 7th, and it was approved. So I want to hop on here and update everyone on the whole entire plan and logistics and what's going to look like. Hopefully, these details will help with your planning on returning to school. And so there is a lot of information, so I want to use a video and in addition to written communication to help with communicating this as clear as possible. So let me go over the plan. And then as we are talking about this plan, please keep in mind that during this video, it is more of a briefing. So we can kind of know the logistical details in a nutshell. And then if you are seeing this video on social media, in the description, you will have a link that you can click on or follow to see the actual details in written format and go about that. Or if you're seeing this in the email where this video is, you should also have that link to follow to see the details in that written format as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go through the briefing for the AAEC PV Start of School for 2020 and what that's going to look like. So fall 2020 start date, all students will start on August 17th, regardless of what format. So per the governor's orders, all schools in person will start August 17th. AAEC school board, and after the principals meeting and looking at logistics, we decided to, no matter which format it's gonna take, we will all students will start on August 17th. So when school starts on August 17th, families will have a choice. We understand that not all families are prepared and comfortable with the risks involved to come back to a school in-person setting. So we are giving families a choice to see what best fit the situation that the family is currently facing. So you can choose to either come to school face-to-face in person like a normal school day. However, if you do come to face-to-face, there will be some additional safety protocols that's implemented on campus that we expect everyone from staff to students to follow in order to minimize the risk. Please do understand, we can never guarantee 100% ironclad guarantee 100% zero risk. We can't guarantee that. What we're going to do, and I'll go over the safety protocols in a little bit, that what we're doing is going to minimize it as much as we can. And then Synchronous Online. Synchronous Online is the other choice for students and families to attend school in the fall for AAEC Paradise Valley in order to minimize and if they're not comfortable in returning to school in person. So synchronous means that even though you're staying at home and you're attending school online, the sessions are live. This means that you still follow your normal school day schedule for both college and high school. So if, for example, if I have a high school class that starts at 9 o'clock, if I have a high school class that starts at 9 o'clock, then I would need to log in at 9 o'clock and attend class live. Live also means that the teacher will be teaching live in the live online session as well. So it is not a pre-recorded thing where students log in whatever they want. So there is still structure for students that go online, they have to follow in order to maintain that structure. And the reason we decided to stay live sessions, because from experience from last quarter, the non-synchronous, non-live was a bit of a struggle for students who are not able to keep their own schedule. So the structure we find is very important for students to still follow a normal school day structure even though they're attending live sessions at home. So parents and families and students will have these two choices when school starts. So selections, we'll be sending out a form for everybody to fill out to select what school format they want to start in August 17th. And in order to keep some consistency in the way we start school and proceed, we will use different increments of time to allow for changes in those selections. What we want to avoid is, with people saying they want to come to school Monday and then don't want to come to school Tuesday and then change back and forth day to day depending on their mood. We want to keep it some sort of consistency. So if I choose a selection, students and families have the chance to change their selection every 4th week, which is basically progress report, and we will communicate that when that timeline comes. So in the first 4 weeks is September 11th. It happens to fall on September 11th. All students will have the chance to change their attending format. Another way that an immediate change in attending format happens is if in-person student is exposed or sick or is all of a sudden at high risk, then we will obviously accommodate and change to an online format for that student without needing to wait for the 4th week mark. But we do want to keep it as consistent as possible so the population in class in and out is also consistent and not fluctuating. This not only minimize risk with different individual coming in and out, but also helps our teachers plan their lessons to be able to accommodate both online and in person when the students have some sort of consistency, and they can know to plan every 4 weeks. There's 4th week, there's some changes. So 4th week, students and families can change their attending format, or if there's some very compelling reason, for example, if a student is exposed or is sick or all of a sudden is at high risk, then we will go ahead and make those changes to online. Otherwise, we want to stay as consistent as possible. So what does online synchronous format kind of look like? Obviously, since an online synchronous, we do need access to a laptop if you elect to do that, and access to high-speed internet, because you will be watching the lesson stream live to you at a live session, and you can interact with the teacher in the live session. Like, you can speak through the mic and the teacher will hear you, so you can still ask questions and interact with the teacher in that format. It's not as interactive as in person, obviously, but it has some sort of interaction still. You still must follow the normal day schedule to attend live sessions. So if I have first period at 8 o'clock, I need to attend my first period at 8 o'clock, even though I'm attending live online. And then I go to my second period and so on. And don't forget, your college is also there. So make sure you attend your college classes if you have them, to follow that schedule as well. So live session is super important. There is structure. You can't just go in whenever you want. You have to follow your normal class start time. Since sciences have labs, and it doesn't have to be, but there may be a couple of times where science labs do have to take place in person due to the nature of the laboratory experiment, the equipment that needs to be used that just can't be done at home. And those will be limited to less than 10 people per group with the safety protocol that we'll cover later for in-person attendance. If a student is doing online and they're just super high risk and they cannot attend those labs, please communicate with us and the teacher and we will work around that. But if you are in general attending online synchronous, there may be a couple times where science labs will take place on campus, spread out with less than 10 people per laboratory experiment group. Chromebooks will be available for checkout for those who don't have laptops at home. And for those who don't have internet at home, they can take the Chromebook to a PVCC campus next door and sit either on their campus outdoors or in their computer lab, which is socially distanced and with limited amount of people in there, and they can use the high-speed internet on the PVCC campus. We have worked with PVCC's Dean of Students and they are very gracious enough to give us that access to their computer spaces and campus high-speed internet for our students. AAEC's own campus will also be open for high-speed internet access with certain times, and that time will have to be determined because we have to look at when our in-person class schedules going to look like before we publish the access time. So because we want to have space utilization considerations, meaning we don't want a lot of people in one place at one time. So that's kind of like how a synchronous format online classes will look like. In-person safety protocols that will happen when you pick in-person or whenever you are on campus, either for labs or you're attending on campus or you're coming on campus for small group tutoring. I forgot to mention during the online format, you can, even though you're online format, you can still come after school for small group tutoring if you choose to. So please keep that in mind as well. That is still available. So what are some of the safety protocols? Everybody that comes on campus will have to wear some sort of face covering. It doesn't have to be a mask of cloth or N95 mask. It could be a face shield, a plastic face shield, a head shield, or some sort of face covering that needs to be worn when on campus in order to protect everybody around you. Please remember, face masks is not just for our own protection, it's also to prevent ourselves from being the one to spread it to other people. So it is also to protect those around us as well. It's not just for our own safety. So it takes a community effort for this to work. We really appreciate everybody coming together and following these safety protocols for the community, as a community working together. And we do understand there are some people with some sort of innate health impairments that a face covering may cause some damages because of their health conditions that they already have. And we will please communicate that with us, and we'll work with you on those cases. But aside from that, we will be requiring everybody on campus to wear face coverings. Again, doesn't have to be a fabric one, but it could be a face shield of some sort. Social distancing, we will be requiring and monitoring students in the courtyard to social distance and not bunch up into large groups. We would love it when students interact socially, but in this time, we will then encourage students to be separated into smaller groups when they interact with each other. Try not to be bunched up into large groups. Including social distancing is that our cafeteria will be spaced out to every other seat. So students eating lunch in the cafeteria will be spaced every other seat in the lunch area, so that to continue to have social distancing, since it's kind of hard to eat with a mask on, so they won't be wearing masks during eating times for lunch, so that social distancing becomes even more important. Self-report obligation. So all families, from teachers to staff to students, are required to self-report to us if they have been exposed or at risk of exposure or at risk of catching the virus or showing symptoms. And if they are exposed or showing symptoms, they will be asked to stay home and be evaluated by their health professional, family doctor, to be cleared to return. Cleaning and sanitizing protocols will be different as well. Our cleaning crew will increase the frequency of deep cleans, including using electrostatic machines to shock the surfaces of the areas that we touch in our tables and whatnot. So there's both chemical and physical electric cleaning that will happen, which also happen more frequently. Sanitizing stations will be installed in every classroom that's touchless. So every student coming in and out will have a chance to sanitize their hands coming in. And every classroom will be equipped with cleaning wipes to wipe down high-touch surfaces between classes to minimize any contamination. All personnel, from students to staff, will be temperature screened before entering campus. So everybody that comes on campus have to have their measured temperature to be at least lower than 100 degrees. Anybody 100 degree or higher will be asked to stay home. I know we sometimes students walk to campus and they're a little bit heated. We might ask them to wait in the office for about 15 minutes and recheck their temperature. If it still stays high, we are going to ask that person to stay home. And before they can return, they have to show that they're not showing any symptoms. We will also be requiring our community to do self-checks before they come to campus, and I'll cover a little bit what that self-check means. If anybody is quarantined or showing symptoms, we will be requiring a doctor's release for return, either their family physician or doctor or health professional saying they're okay to return, or a negative result to be able to return to campus. And reminder signs to wash hands, social distance, don't touch your face will be posted around campus as well. So what does that self-check I was talking about mean? It's a short 5 question that everybody, we want them to ask themselves in the morning before they come to school or come to work. Have you been quarantined by a medical professional? 2, in the last 14 days, have you been in some sort of contact exposure to a COVID-19 positive person? And that's defined as by the CDC as in contact within 6 feet and for more than 15 minutes. 3, in the last 14 days, have you traveled to any place that is designated by the CDC to be high-risk areas that has been advised not to go to? And 4, has the person been experiencing any new symptoms of COVID-19 or any type of sickness for that matter? And how's their temperature? Is it above 100 degrees Fahrenheit? If any of these 5 questions is a yes, then that person will need to stay home and notify our front office receptionist right away. And that person will then need to, again, just like the quarantine, provide a health professional note or doctor or a negative test in order to return to campus. So with that said, how do I select attending formats? For English directions, please follow this link, tinyurl.com/AAECPV Fall 2020 Choice. For Spanish format, we have some parents that speak Spanish. Spanish format is this one, AAEC PV Fall 2020 Choice -SPA. And that's basically what starting school in fall 2020 on August 17 will look like. I know there are a lot of other questions that are still floating around, such as what does new student orientation going to look like? What about material list and things like that, and back to school nights? Those will come at a following announcement. Right now we're just concentrating through approval of the school board to approve the school start logistics. And the next thing we're going to work on is the orientation for new students, training new students to use Canvas for the online delivery, and back to school night logistics. So all that is coming to follow. So we really appreciate your patience on working and being patient with us. I hope that having the choice to go online and in person will alleviate a lot of the questions and worries that students and families are having. For those who want to come, they can come. We'll welcome them. For those who have health concerns and worry about infection due to high-risk individuals in the family, I hope that online option will give you that peace of mind and still attend school uninterrupted. And the live format will still provide a good structure to have synchronous instruction to see your teachers, even though it's through a computer screen. I really appreciate every one of us coming together as a community to work together, especially to follow these safety protocols, because we say self-reporting and self-awareness check, that's really the honor code. there's no way for us as an organization to enforce something to happen at home. So it's a community effort coming together with one goal and common goal to keep our students safe, and minimize risk as much as possible. So I thank you so much to coming together as a community to do this and follow our safety protocols. So please, go to these links. And again, if you're watching this from social media, the links are posted in the description comments of social media. If you're seeing this in an email, these links are in the email thread that I've sent out. Please go ahead and go in and read those choice surveys. When you click in the choice survey, it's going to look like a form. It's going to look like this. So let me open the English one. There will be a letter from district office. There will be more descriptions on basically kind of what I went over, but in a written format. The difference between in-person and remote synchronous, I also went over this briefly, but there's more details for you if you want to look into that. I cover the safety protocols and also the communication that I talked about. And then at the end, there's a big click here to make your selection of in-person or remote. Please click there and do your selection so that we can prepare on who's coming to in-person and who's going online. And as always, please continue to look for further communication from myself and the district staff about the other aspects of school opening, which is like your orientation, your back to school nights, your supply list and whatnot. And I am always available by email, phone call. If you need to reach us, you know how to reach us. And I wish everybody have a safe time and good health. And I will see you either online, virtually, or in person when school starts. Thank you so much.